In this video, I'm going to share with you how to bulk up for skinny guys. And a big clue is I keep it very simple and I'm certainly consistent. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I will actually show you exactly what I do and tell you what type of foods I eat, etc. You're more than welcome to follow my plan and it always works every year. Hey, it's Steve Staley here, and hopefully I'm going to give you some information that will lead to you living your best life right today. And just before we jump into the video, can you give the video a thumbs up because it makes a big difference? Thank you. Number one, and by far the most important, focus on calories. So the average man has about 2,500 calories a day. I don't think that is anything groundbreaking to learn about. And this is so obvious, but eat less than the amount of calories of 2,500 a day and you're probably going to lose weight on average. If you have more than that, you're probably going to gain weight. So depending if you want to diet or bulk up, you go below to diet, you go above to bulk up. I think that's pretty straightforward, but your next question is how do you know? How are you going to track all this? Well, I use, and I'm sure there's lots of apps out there, but I use an app called MyFitnessPal, and I used this app for about 2 years, and I couldn't recommend it enough. Or a similar app that does exactly the same thing, because you get to learn about food, you get to learn about stuff that you thought was really bad for you and it isn't, or you think it might be bad for you and it actually isn't that bad. That's one thing I remember about my little journey, but one thing always sticks with me. The moment I look at a food now, I know straight away how many calories is in that food. So these apps are really useful because they've got barcode scanners on them. The one I used was MyFitnessPal. You can just open up the app and scan food with it, and it'll tell you straight away how much protein's in it, how many calories, and then you add it to your daily consumption, and by the end of the day, it'll tell you exactly how many calories you've had, so you know where you're up to. And this, like I said, this is what I always use, or I did use before I learned about foods or the foods I eat, because I'm quite consistent with everything I do. When it comes to food, I have pretty much the same food all the time, which might be boring to some, but for me, I just like the results. I don't think about food to enjoy it, really. I just think about food to get the best results for me, and that's it. You might be different, and that's fine, but whatever you're doing, you need to know exactly how many calories you're putting in your mouth every day. And you need to make sure, if you're gonna bulk up, you need to be at least, I would say, 3,000 calories and above. So get started right away. If you want to do this, just jump into it. But one thing you're going to have to get used to is feeling full. Now this experience can be not very enjoyable at first, but you're going to, like I said, you're just going to have to get used to it. Because if you are going to bulk up and you are going to have, I don't know, 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 calories a day, there might be moments where you don't want to eat or you don't want to eat anymore, but you do need to hit the target because being consistent is essential in working out and bulking up. Number two, don't weigh yourself. Now, I don't know if anyone has ever talked about this online, but it's something I certainly stay away from because I don't want to look at the scales and think, oh, I'm on the right track or I'm not on the right track. I know if I'm on the right track by being consistent. By looking in the mirror, I can tell. By the clothes that fit me differently, I can tell. I don't need to weigh myself, and I don't want the weighing scales to be a judge on my success. I just don't. That just makes my personal preference. Other people might disagree with this, but if you absolutely have to weigh yourself and you really want to, then I'd probably recommend weighing yourself once a week, and definitely no more than once a week. I mean, maybe once every couple of weeks. And your aim is to try and put on, I don't know, about 1 pound of weight every 10 days. Again, because I don't even know if your body can take much more than that. But yeah, again, this is something I don't do. This is research I've literally looked online, but I don't do it. I stay away from it. You need to do what you want to do at the end of the day. So whatever diet works for you, that's what you need to go for. Basically, if you plan to do 4,000 calories a day, you need to stick to that no matter what. Just stick to it. And if you've planned to do 4,000 calories a day for 3 months, then you do 4,000 calories a day for 3 months, and it's as simple as that. You don't need to weigh yourself. You don't need any of that nonsense. Just ignore that. Just focus on you achieving your goal, and that's it. So yeah, I'd stay away from the weighing scales because I don't want the weighing scales to tell me if I'm succeeding or failing. I just don't. But that you might be different. If you want to do it, do it. But ultimately, be consistent, achieve your goals, get to the end of your plan. The risk is if you use a weighing scale, you might be put off for some reason. You might not be hitting the target on the weighing scales. But I would just always think of the goal you set yourself and achieving that goal. And don't be put off by what you weigh. Weigh yourself at the end by all means, but your aim is to be consistent and achieve what you set out to achieve. Number 3, be consistent, and be consistent on whatever goal you've set yourself and make sure you hit it every day. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Hit your target, and a way you can hit your target, easier in my experience anyway, is by using supplements. No, this isn't essential by the way, but this is just something that I do to make my goals easier to achieve. So what do I do? For example, I'll have breakfast, lunch and dinner, but also I will have 3 supplements between these meals. So between breakfast and lunch I'll have something, between lunch and dinner I'll have something, and after dinner I'll have something as well. When I say something, could be a protein shake, could be a protein bar. So yeah, typically I will have either protein shakes or protein bars. Protein bar that I'm really interested in at the moment, really enjoying, is the Oreo grenade bars. I think they've got 2 grams of sugar and about 20 grams of protein, and they're decent. Yeah, so even when I'm bulking, I will still eat protein, and a lot of protein, but also I will be eating the carbs. Yeah, so that's just in my experience. I find that eating these supplements at the same time as your meals gives you a greater chance of hitting your target. I mean, there will be easier ways. You might want to have fat with all your food, which is fine. You know, you'll find a way, whatever you do, but it's just what I do, and I just find it works for me. And I've been doing this for so long now, so I'm used to doing it. Okay, now the bonus. Now, if you remember at the start of the video, I did say I'd tell you at the end of the video what I use to bulk up, what I do, etc. And I'll share that with you now. Firstly, breakfast. Now at breakfast, when I'm bulking up, definitely not when I'm cutting, I just cut this out altogether. But when I'm bulking up, I will have full fat milk on some cereals that are really tasty. Cereals obviously high in carbs, high in sugar. And it just sets you off on a path that usually I'll probably make bad food choices that day. And yeah, cereals for me, when I want to cut, I just feel like cereals have put on so much weight on my body anyway, more than what it says on paper. I just think it just sets you off to make bad decisions with food, which when you're bulking up isn't so bad anyway. So for breakfast, I will do cereals. Sometimes as well, I'll have a fry up, full English. Not that often, maybe once or twice a week as a treat. Something, again, when you're bulking up, and this is not to everyone's taste, I do, well, they say it's dirty bulking. I do take some shortcuts, if you want to call it that. I don't always eat amazingly healthy, and what that leads to, and I probably wouldn't recommend this, but nevertheless it does work. What it does lead to is when you bulk up, you will get a bit of fat around the sides and stuff that you're gonna have to work off when you cut. So you're basically making life harder for yourself. You don't have to do that. It's just something that I do. I sort of reward myself, and I think, right, when it's time to cut, as we get towards the summer, that's when I'm going to put the afterburners on. I'll get rid of this fat dead quick, and I'll get a 6-pack, or I'll certainly get a flat stomach. So for breakfast, yeah, I pig out a bit. For lunch and dinner, I actually have chicken and rice still. That's just something I do. A bit boring, I know, but I have chicken and rice every day for lunch and every day for dinner. That doesn't change even when I'm bulking up. So I'll get my protein and carbs through chicken and rice. Outside of this, I consume 2 things that I really enjoy. Ice cream and chocolate. Both not good for you, both high calorie. I love milk chocolate and I love all sorts of ice cream. So yeah, I pig out quite a bit on ice cream and chocolate, and the calories soon ramp up. So yeah, I do consider bulking up as a treat to me. And then I really pay for it when it comes down to slimming down. So when I bulk up, you've got to reward yourself though. Because going to the gym can't always be difficult. It can't always be a life of, not enjoying what you want. So I take a bit in the bulking part, and I certainly pay for it when it comes down to cutting. The most important thing about bulking up is that you're hitting the calories though. Make sure you hit the calories. Make sure you hit the calories that you set out at the start. And if you don't know, then maybe, I don't know, go for 3.5 calories a day first time you do it. Honestly, I don't even track what I do anymore. I just know I go way over 2,500 calories every day when I bulk up. I just make the choices. Like I said, I've done it for years and years. So and right now I know that I'm bulking up, but I'm not bulking up in a particularly good way. But like I said, when it comes to February, when I put the afterburners on and I get to about Feb, March, April, May, when I get to about May, I'll be in good condition then. I'll look really good. I check back in May, see if I'm in good shape, see if I'm talking nonsense or not. Let me know if you agree with anything I've just said there. You might disagree. They might be way better bodybuilders than me that say what a load of nonsense. But in my experience, it's worked really well for me. You've probably seen some other pictures online where I get in really good shape. You probably also know that I am Mr. Manchester, which is the model of Manchester right now. I represent Manchester on the catwalk. And I haven't won the prize for Manchester yet, unfortunately. Sorry, Manchester. But nevertheless, I still represent Manchester. I'll be representing Manchester at Mr. British Isles next year, 2024. Mr. Manchester, and I've been Mr. Manchester for a few years now, so next year could be my year. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, drop a comment, like and subscribe. Let me know what video you'd like me to make next, and I'll see you next time.